Hi, Bree.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How's it
Awesome.
going for you?
Pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad. I realized you didn't send over the PowerPoint, but that's fine. If you want to just pull it up um and kind of control it, I'll just kick things off and like make an introduction and then since you'll already have it up, then you can just kind of go from there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Can you hear the construction outside?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay. It's been so noisy. So
I get that. Yeah, the people across the street are redoing their house too, and it's very loud all day long.
yeah. Well, I'm by the bridge that got burned down over here on Cheshire Bridge.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they're working on that. And like I think the ETA is like the end of May. So they've literally been working like overnight.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. It looks like we have attendees joining us. Hi, James.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We'll give it about 2 more minutes and then we'll go ahead and kick it off.
Awesome.
I see a lot of familiar names joining us. Welcome. And Bree, the session is already recording, so
Awesome. Thank you for that. Sorry, I'm trying to finish my tea before we start. We want the most caffeinated version of me. Trust me.
no worries. I'm gonna grab my water. Alrighty, so it is 2 after. So we'll go ahead and get started. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for attending the Sugar Market Academy. This session will be on using Sugar Market alerts. Bree, did you want to go to the introduction page? Oh, okay, awesome. So we'll, as far as presenters today, my name is Shara Rouse. I am the Implementation and Education Manager here at Sugar, for Sugar University. And then I'll let Bree go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Bree Bridges. I am a marketing automation consultant here at Sugar. Basically, I do everything to help people get set up with Sugar Market and then support them after they're already set up. So some of you may have already met me, and if you have, nice to see you again.
Awesome. And so Bree is our subject matter expert for this session. So I'll let you kick it off with the agenda, and you can go from there.
Awesome. Okay. So like Shara said, today we are going to be focusing on alerts from Sugar Market. So we're going to start by going over the purpose of why you would use alerts, which you're probably like, Bree, I mean, we know the purpose of using alerts, they're alerts, but I'm going to go into a little more detail so that we can talk about why specifically you want to use them from Market. Then we'll talk about the different types of alerts that we have in Sugar Market and how to trigger them. At the end, we'll wrap up with some takeaways and some additional resources. So during this, I'm going to be switching back and forth between Sugar Market and the PowerPoint so that I can kind of give you guys a real look into how these things are set up and how you would actually use them. So starting off, let's talk about the purpose of alerts. So really with alerts, the main thing that it boils down to is that your business is moving fast. You guys are moving fast. As marketers, you barely have time to slow down. So you don't have time to sit there and manually monitor everything that's going on in your system, especially if you have a lot of customers. It's kind of hard to keep all of those in line. So alerts are going to help us make sure that you guys never miss out on any important actions that you need to know about, whether it's a form submission, whether somebody clicks on a specific link in an email, whether someone meets a certain criteria, whether they become a hot lead. You don't want to miss out on those things because then you're letting, your next engagement slip by. So Sugar Market gives you the option to use out of the box alerts, which are basically alerts that are created by Market. Or alternatively, you can create your own custom alerts so that you can literally decide exactly what you want to relay to your team. So I mentioned this, but there are 3 ways to trigger alerts through Sugar Market. You can do it through form submissions, you can do it through nurture actions, and you can do it through lead scoring actions or just general scoring actions. All right, so we are going to start with form submission alerts because I think these are the big ones that most people want to know about. So form submissions alerts are going to be configured in the action step of the form builder. And I am going to show you guys this in just a second. So all of the alerts that come from the out of the box form submission ones, these are going to be system generated. And what they're going to include is everything that that person filled out on that form. You can see on my fake form right here, we've got my email, my name, and then my favorite part of spring because that's the question on the form. Excuse me. So there are 2 ways that you can configure these alerts. You could either do them as a general alert, which essentially means every time someone fills out the form, whoever you set up to receive these general alerts is going to get a notification every single time. Or alternatively, you can use form submission rules. This is going to allow you to say, okay, if someone answers a specific question on my form a specific way, I want to notify this person. So that way they don't get every single alert. They don't get all of the riffraff or things that don't apply to them. They specifically get things that go to them. So let's take a look into Sugar Market and talk about how these work. So this is my form. Let's say we have this form right here. We've got our get ready for spring form, Sugar Market form on a landing page. So if I fill out this form, let's say that we want anybody to be notified of this form. How you're going to configure this is you're going to go and find your form inside of Sugar Market. Let's go into Pages and Forms, go to Forms, and we're going to go into our Sugar U webinar alert, and it'll load. So you're going to do this on the form's actions step. So of course you have all of your other steps, your basics, build it out, make it, structure it the way that you want it to, map it to where it needs to go, style the form, make it look pretty. But actions is really where you're going to configure all of the alerts and anything that happens after the form is submitted. So if you are wanting to alert someone every single time that a form is submitted, what you're going to do is there is a little plus sign that you'll see up here in the top right corner, or not really top right corner, but the right side of the page. When you click on this, it's going to give you two options. One is a confirmation email. The second one is form alerts. This is how you are going to set up an alert for every time someone submits this. What it's going to do is it's going to prompt you to notify the user. So you have to choose the user from any of the users that you have in Sugar Market. If you are connected to your CRM, what you guys probably know is that all of your users from your CRM actually also exist in Sugar Market, which means you can notify any of those people. If they're a member of your sales team, does not matter. Even if they've never logged into Sugar Market before, maybe they don't even know Sugar Market exists. Doesn't matter. You can notify them so long as they have a user. So we are going to notify me. Right here, we got Bree Bridges. And then you can choose the frequency. So when it comes to the frequency, it does give you the option for on submit, daily or weekly. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I typically go with on submit. When you choose daily or weekly, what it does is it doesn't necessarily send you like a list of everybody who filled out the form, over the course of the day or over the course of the week. What it does is it holds these notifications and then sends them all at the same time. So if 10 people filled out the form over the course of the week, you're going to get 10 emails at one time whenever that day comes. So on submit is usually the best way to go for this. And then you're just going to click add. And if you want to add additional ones, so let's say we want to notify not just me, but we also want to notify James, who's also on this call. We're going to click on form alerts. We are just going to type in James. There's two James, so we're just going to choose one. Click add. And that means that both of us are going to get notified anytime someone fills out this form. So that's how you're going to do that kind of thing. So let's talk about using these field submission rules to notify a specific person whenever someone fills out the form and they answer a certain question on the form in a certain way. So on my actual form here, what you're going to see is that I have this question here about what is your favorite part of spring? We've got some options on here, and let's say somebody chooses pollen, which if you choose pollen, I'm worried about you because that should be no one's favorite part of spring. But regardless, let's say someone chooses pollen. Let's say if somebody chooses pollen, we are going to notify my colleague Viri. She's going to get the notification about pollen because she's going to handle all the people and maybe get them some therapy or something about why they enjoy pollen as their favorite part of spring. So what we're going to do is we are going to add a new field submission rule to essentially make it so that Viri is notified. What you're going to do is you're going to click add rule, and it's going to prompt you to choose a condition. So we are going to set our condition. We're going to choose our field, which is the favorite part of spring. We're going to do equals, and then we can choose from our dropdown and choose pollen. Then we're just going to click add. When you click add, it's going to prompt this click to add action right here. When I click to add action, it's going to give me a few options down at the bottom that have to do with sending alerts. So one of them is alert user. This is going to let you do one of two things. You can alert a specific user in the system. So in our case, Viri, or alternatively, we can alert the contact owner. That is the person that is the assigned owner for the contact. They will automatically get a notification when somebody meets this criteria. The other option you have is alert role. This is going to alert everyone who is within a role inside of Sugar Market. This is not having to do with your roles and teams in Sugar CRM or whatever your external CRM is. This is specifically going to be roles within Sugar Market. Roles can be used as a way of like grouping people together. So you do have the ability where you can create custom roles just for the point of, notifying everybody. If I want to create a role that has everybody on this call in it and call it super cool people role, I can notify us all by clicking alert role. So we're going to do alert user, and it's going to either prompt me to choose my user or I can choose to alert the owner. In this case, we are going to do Viri. So we're going to look up. There we go. And click add. And that's that. Now, whenever someone submits this form, if they fill out the form in general, I will get a notification and James will get a notification. But if they fill it out and they say that their favorite part of spring is pollen, I will get a notification, James will get a notification, and Veery will get a notification. You can continue to add these kinds of roles by adding additional rules. Or if you want to, let's say we want to alert 2 people about someone saying, that their favorite part of spring is pollen, you can click on this little plus sign right here, click on action, choose alert user, and then we'll do my other colleague. Everybody on my team is going to get a shout out today. And so now both of these people are going to be alerted when someone chooses pollen. All right, so that is form submission alerts. Very easy. There's one additional way to do this if you would rather use custom alerts. So we are going to talk about custom alerts in a second. You can use them through the form builder as well. Most people just opt to go with the out-of-the-box ones that give all of the answers to the forms. But if you're interested in using custom alerts, you are actually not going to use this alert option at all. Instead, and this will make more sense in a second, I promise, you would add the action for add to Nurture 2.0 because you are going to be able to execute alerts, custom alerts through nurtures, which is going to be the next thing that we talk about. All right, let's hop back to our presentation. So now let's go into nurture alerts. So this is kind of going to show us how we are going to be able to trigger alerts from nurture campaigns, whether it's someone completing a specific action, whether it's just us trying to simply alert someone just because we need to. We're going to kind of walk through how to do that. But before we go into nurture alerts, we need to talk about something called alert templates. So Sugar Market is incredible in the way that it lets you create your own custom alerts. You don't have to have standard out of the box ones that look all, gross and, normal. Instead, you get to create your own custom alerts. So basically, when you're creating these custom alerts, you have the ability to include any information you want to. What you're going to do to set up these kinds of alerts is you're going to create something called an alert template. And I'm about to say a sentence that sounds crazy, but it'll make more sense once I show you guys. So an alert template is essentially an email template that you set up in Sugar Market that is only ever going to go to your internal team. This template is going to use applicable merge tags to relay the correct information that you want to relay automatically to your team. And I know you guys are probably like, that sounds like a bunch of, nothing that you just said. It sounds like a bunch of crazy words and stuff like that. It'll make sense in a second. Don't worry. So the good news about the alert templates is that you can create one and use it for every single thing if you want to. Alternatively, you can duplicate them. You can have as many as them if you want to. You can customize them to fit any specific situation, however you would like to do it. They'll be used mostly in the following for nurture alerts and for lead scoring alerts. They can also be used for form submission, which I just mentioned. However, I didn't put that on here because technically that falls into nurture. So let's look at alert templates. To get to your alert templates and to create a new alert template or to look at a previously created one, you're actually going to go to your emails over on your sidebar. And on your secondary sidebar, you're going to have an option for alert templates. This is going to pull up any alert templates you have. So we are going to go into the general one that I created. And essentially, you get to design this entire email however you want to. And like I said, you're using applicable merge tags to relay whatever information you want to show in here. So essentially, you can display anything that you have a field for in your CRM that came down to Sugar Market. If you have a field for what is this person's favorite color, you could include that in here. These merge tags automatically populate from the information that we have about this person. So for example, if this is an alert that someone is getting regarding me, the name would come up as, instead of first name, last name, it would say Bree Bridges. We would have bbridges@sugarcrm.com for my email. I don't actually have a phone number for work, so probably you'd blank. Company would say Sugar CRM. My title would say Marketing Automation Consultant, and so on and so forth. So anything that you want to include in here, you can. You can also make this look as pretty or as plain as you want it to. Again, this is only going to your internal team, so it doesn't really matter how you actually design it out because they'll be fine with whatever they get, essentially. So there is something, this is my super secret trick that I'm going to tell you guys who are on this webinar, because normally this is something that people don't think that you can do in Sugar Market. So I get this question all the time when I'm doing trainings where they're like, Bree, how can we get our alerts when people click on them that it takes them to this lead or this contact inside the CRM? Like, I want to see this inside of SugarCell. What you're going to do is you can set up a button in here, and there's a specific code that you can put in for your button that I'm going to show you guys. It's going to look a little crazy, but I promise you it is foolproof and it works pretty much every time, so long as this record actually exists in your CRM. So what you're going to do is I'm going to pull up my fake CRM instance. And it's going to take forever to load, of course, because I'm on a call. There we go. And then we are going to go to a random contact or lead. We'll go to me, and we're just going to copy this link right here. Now, back in the email builder, where you're going to put this in the URL area. Now, there are some things that we're going to want to switch out. First thing that we're going to want to switch out is we know that sometimes, you know, this could be somebody we're getting alerted on, that somebody who's a contact, but it could also be someone who's a lead. So how is that going to work if we have just contacts written here? What you're going to do is you're going to actually use merge tags in here to make it so that it automatically pulls that information that is related to this customer specifically. The first thing that you're going to do is we are going to erase everything in contacts except for the S, and we are going to replace it with a specific merge tag. This merge tag is ++ CRM type ++. What this does is basically Sugar Market uses the CRM type field to determine whether or not someone is a contact or a lead. So if we are talking about someone who is a contact, this is going to pull in contact. The S stays because if you look in here, there is an S always after this. So it's either going to say contacts or leads, while the field is only going to pull in contact or lead. So it's important to keep that S in. Oops, sorry. It's important to keep that S in there, or else this won't work properly. So essentially, this is going to pull contacts or leads. Then all we got to worry about is the string right here. As you guys know, this is the CRM ID. This is actually housed in a field in Sugar Market as well. So what you're going to do is everything after this secondary slash, we are going to replace with a merge tag. That merge tag is going to be ++ ID ++. That's all. What this is going to do is basically it's going to fill in the blanks. So whenever if this is specifically talking about this Bree Bridges contact, or this looks like it's listed as Brianna Bridges, what's going to happen is that this link, when it ever goes, you know, specifically to somebody to notify them about Bree, it's going to open up this particular page in the CRM. So it's a pretty cool tool. A pretty cool way to get around things, and a way to have your sales team more engaged and involved in what you're doing, and be able to actually, you know, see that journey directly in the CRM as well. All right, once you're done with your alert templates, you are just going to click complete. If you ever need to, let's say you want to duplicate it and customize it for a specific reason, let's say that you want to, I don't know, just duplicate it because you feel like duplicating it. All you have to do, single click on the white spot next to the name of the alert that you want to duplicate. This little pop-up, or this little sidebar is going to appear. You're going to click on our best friend in Sugar Market, which is the context menu. Anything you need, 99% of the time, it is in this context menu. My answer to every question, did you check the context menu? Click on that, and there's an option for duplicate, and that will duplicate that, and then you can change anything that you need to. All right, we'll hop back to our PowerPoint for a second, because we are going to talk about Nurture Builder alerts. So Nurture Builder alerts are going to allow us to add alerts into our workflows so that we can notify people when specific actions are taken. So we are going to see an example of this, and I'll show you guys this in a second. So all alerts are going to be created as alert templates prior to being added to the Nurture. So you do have to have your alert template before you can build this out. Just keep that in mind. So there are 3 options that you can use for alert elements in the Nurture Builder. One is alert user. That's going to be this top one right here. Alert user is going to allow you to alert a specific user in Sugar Market every time that this action is completed. So, it doesn't matter who is going through the nurture. Anytime someone reaches that step, the same user is going to be notified every time. The second option you have is alert role. This is going to allow us to alert all users within a specific role inside of Sugar Market. So again, talking about that super cool people role, we are going to have the ability to alert all of us that are in that super cool people role when somebody reaches this step in the nurture. And then third is you have the ability to alert the contact owner. This is going to automatically alert the person who is assigned as the contact owner for this record. As you guys probably know, whoever the contact owner is in your external CRM, as long as you are syncing that information down to Sugar Market, it will be the same contact owner. So if it's a specific sales rep, it will alert that specific sales rep. All right, now we're going to go back to Sugar Market. We're hopping around a lot today, guys. So this is my nurture that I set up. So what's happening in this nurture essentially is that when people get added into it, we're sending them an email. Let's say that this is an email like, I don't know, let's say that we own a nice little dog bed company. And this is a link to our sale page where people are interested in purchasing new dog beds or something, the ones that we have on sale. And when people do click on this link that's in this email, we want to alert their contact owner. We want to let these people know, hey, this person is interested in buying a dog bed. You should reach out to them and maybe, strike up a conversation. Probably you would not do this with dog beds, but that was the first thing that came to my mind. Dogs are in the room. We just go with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our alert option over here. We are going to go with alert contact owner because we want it to be specific to that person. Drag that over and drop it into our nurture. Then we are going to connect it to the step above. In this case, I am using a conditional element, which gives you a yes and a no step. You can use these without a conditional element. Don't think that you can't. It just works best for the scenario. So I'm going to drag the yes to this, and then we are going to configure our alert. What we're going to do, click on this little settings gear right here, choose the alert that we want to work with through here, and then enter our subject line for the alert. So we could say, someone clicked. And that's that. Now, whenever somebody clicks on the email that is within this nurture, it will then alert their contact owner. And that is how alerts within nurtures work.
Hey, Bree, just really quick.
Yeah.
I wanted to address the participants on the webinar. So if you have questions, I'm sorry, I know I typed in the chat to ask questions in the chat. However, if you have questions, please use the Q&A to type your questions, and then we will respond via Q&A. Okay, that's all.
Awesome. Thank you. Alrighty, so now we are going to go back to our PowerPoint once again, and we're going to talk about the other way that you can basically execute these alerts, which is scoring alerts. If you guys are using scoring in Sugar Market, you know how important it is to not miss out on those hot leads. We want to be able to follow up with them no matter what, because these are people who are actively engaged with us, and they're the people who we want to make moves on. We want to get these people to be our customers because we know they're going to be good customers. So scoring alerts, basically, like I said, they're going to allow you to where you never have to miss your hot leads again, or really any kind of leads. So these are actually configured through the scoring actions in the individual lead stage thresholds that you have, in your scoring profiles. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the lead stage thresholds, these are basically the buckets or thresholds, you want to call them that, that you set up to have people fall into as they gain and lose points. So the most common ones we see are cold, warm, and hot. However, Sugar Market gives you the ability to name these whatever you want to. You can have as many as you want to. They can have whatever point range you want to. You can customize the whole thing. You want to have one for every color of the rainbow and have Roy G. Biv as your, groupings, your lead stage thresholds, totally fine. these are going to be configured on those individual thresholds. So you do have to utilize the alert templates for this. I recommend creating an alert template before you go into adding this on here. I actually have done this. I created an alert template that is very similar to the one that we just saw. However, it's a little more tailored to say, like, you have a new hot lead, because I wanted it to be a little bit more straightforward with what the alert says. So one thing that I want to note about this, there's two types of ways that you can send alerts for scoring. And I'm gonna actually go to the next page to kind of talk about this. The main way you're going to see is in these lead stage thresholds, you're gonna have the option for, basically they're all listed as alert options. And you can see them here: send score alert, alert user, alert role, alert geo. One thing that I want to note about these, if you choose this option, it is going to alert you of this person being in that lead stage every day that they are in that specific lead stage threshold. So if I'm a hot lead for 20 days, you are likely going to get an alert every day for 20 days that I am that hot lead. So keep that in mind, because a lot of people don't know that about how these trigger. So there are 4 options you can use for this. And rather than stay on here, I'm actually going to go and show you guys where to go to configure these, as well as explain these options there. So we're going to go back. So this is inside of my scoring profile. If you scroll down to the bottom, this is where you're going to have your lead stage thresholds listed. So you can see I've got cold, warm, and hot for myself in here. I'm going to actually go in and add the actions to my hot one. Let's say that we want to alert somebody when I have a hot lead. You're going to click on these 3 vertical dots. Again, your context menu, your best friend in Sugar Market, #1 place you're going to go for everything. Click edit. And then below the general setup of this, you've got this option called profile scoring actions. These are actions that are going to be executed as soon as somebody falls into this lead stage threshold. It's not limited to just alerts. You can do things like add people to nurtures, to send emails. You can push them to the external CRM, so on and so forth. There's like a million options of what you can do. But for today, we're focusing on alerts. So you're going to click add new. And when you do that, it's going to give you an option to add an action. If you scroll down, you're going to see all of your alert options at the bottom. The first one is send score alert. What this is going to do is it's essentially going to send an alert to the assigned contact owner for this record. So they will be the person notified. Alert user is going to allow you to alert a specific user every time someone falls into this lead stage threshold. So for example, if you want to alert the head of sales whenever you've got a new hot lead, you would do that through here. You have the option to alert role, which is the next one. Again, that is alerting everybody within our super cool people role. All of us are going to get an alert every day that this person is in our lead stage threshold. And then finally, we have alert geo. Geo is not really something that we use all that much in Sugar Market anymore, but it is still available for you. Essentially, geos are something that you can set up to essentially segment your users based on their locations. So for example, if we want to set up, so for our team specifically, for the Sugar Market implementation team, 2 of us are in the US, 2 of us are in Georgia, and then 2 of us are in the UK. We could set up geos, 1 set up for United States and 1 set up for, the UK, Europe, however you want to set it up like that. And then have it to where essentially it can alert people based on where they're located. Again, we don't use this all too often anymore because it works a little bit like the roles do. When you choose one of these options, it is then going to prompt you to choose the alert that you want to trigger. You click save and it's going to list it down here. I'm going to remove this. So that's how you do the recurring ones. Like I said, this will trigger every day that somebody is in this lead stage threshold and their score is changing. So I think I forgot to mention that at first. It does have to be their score is changing. They're either like slowly gaining more points or maybe losing points. But if they are in that threshold still, it will alert for every day that they're there. So keep that in mind. It can tend to get a little bit annoying, I'm not going to lie, but sometimes it's useful, especially if you have a sales team that you really want them to follow up with people. All right, now let's talk about the other way. If you don't want to do these recurring score alerts, what you can do is you can set up singular score alerts. This is going to be configured through the Nurture Builder. And this is only going to alert the person one time when the record enters the specific lead stage threshold. Literally just going to be one time. We're not going to send them every day. If somebody falls out of this category and then falls back in it at a later time, then it will send the notification again. However, while they're in that lead stage threshold, they will not move, or they will not, it's not going to be a recurring alert essentially. So how are we going to set this up? Let's hop back and I will show you how. So you're going to start with setting up your nurture. So I just created one that is literally just alerts, and we're doing a lead scoring alert. One important thing that I want to note about this is on this main page right here for your basics for your nurture, you are always going to want to click this, allow people to pass through this nurture more than once. What this does is anyone who is triggered into a nurture, meaning they either fill out a form, they're triggered from a different nurture or from lead scoring actions, they can go through a nurture more than one time. And in this case, we want to be notified every time this person ends up as a hot lead. What happens if they're a hot lead and then they completely ghost us for like 6 months? We don't hear anything from them. They're never responding to us and their score drops. But then all of a sudden they decide to be all hot and heavy with us again. Then they would go back up to a hot lead. We want to be notified of that so we can still reach out to this person. Then we are going to proceed to our build step. And in our build step, I have only included one action because I don't really need anything else to happen when someone is added into this nurture. This nurture specifically for me is going to be to alert the contact owner. I set this up. This should say hot lead. Also, it's set up to go to the wrong Bree Bridges. And I apologize, I said contact owner, but this is a specific user. So essentially, we just have this one thing. We are alerting Bree every time that we have somebody who is a new hot lead. We are just going to click next, next, and then we're going to publish this. We don't need to add any sort of actions. We don't need to add any recipients because these are going to be triggered in through the lead scoring actions. You can just completely skip and bypass that recipient step, and I'll show you how you're going to connect the two together. We're going to click yes, and it's going to publish my nurture. Probably going to take like 5. Yep, I was about to say like 5 seconds. It does not take long at all. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our lead scoring profile. So we're going to go scoring. We're going to click on the profile that we want to apply this for. Scroll down, and we're going to go to our hot lead. You can obviously put alerts for any of these categories. I'm just choosing hot lead because it's the most common. We're going to go in and edit it. We are going to add a new action, but this time we are going to add to nurture 2. So it says nurture 2 because it's referring to nurture 2.0. This is referring to the old nurture builder. It's gross, it's ugly. Hopefully most of you have never seen it before and will never see it. Nurture 2 is the one that you're always going to want to go with. So we're going to go into nurture 2, which is our beautiful, wonderful nurture builder. And then we are going to choose the nurture that we want people to go into, which I believe is this one, right? There's 2 of them. So we're going to choose one of them because I accidentally named them the same thing. I apologize. And then we're going to click save. And that is going to then, when somebody falls into this threshold, it is going to send one alert that looks like this. Oh, sorry. This alert template I created, which is the hot lead one, which is the same thing. It just says a record assigned to you has become a hot lead. Ta-da! And that's that. So those are the main ways that you're going to be able to trigger alerts from Sugar Market. Again, super, super helpful. Definitely a way to keep yourself in the loop and keep other members of your team in the loop. I mean, you're in Sugar Market, so you most of the time are going to know generally what's going on. However, there are team members that don't even know that Sugar Market exists, and we still want them to be in the loop because they're still important for our success. So what did we learn today? What are our takeaways? So I pretty much just said this. Alerts are the ultimate way that we are going to make sure that all of our teams are in the loop. The cool thing about this is that I've showed you guys some tricks, but you can mix and match these things that you learned today to make it perfect for you guys. Set up the alerts however you see fit. You can have them, you know, maybe you want them triggered from like what I did where it's a click on an email, but maybe you want them triggered from something completely different. Maybe it's not a form submission. Maybe it's anytime that somebody has, you know, an opportunity that is listed as new. It's totally up to you how you want to configure these. Like I said, don't limit yourself to the basics, think outside the box. And then finally, some resources that we have for you guys. So if you do have a dedicated sugar market consultant, if you have any questions, you can reach out to one of us for help. We are always willing to, hop on a call with you and help you out as long as you have a contract. And then we also have some amazing, wonderful resources that our wonderful team has put together. So there's the knowledge base, which is the sugar support site. Very, very great, especially if you're like me and you like to read things rather than watch videos. Sugar Club is a really awesome forum where you guys can go on and either see questions people have already asked or ask your own questions, as well as some really awesome quick videos. And then Sugar U is going to be, self-paced courses that you can go through. There are tons of sugar market resources on there, and they're basically like going through training, except without a lot of your consultant's really stupid jokes. So, they're quicker and a little more, a little less fun, I guess, if you want to say it that way. Just kidding. They are wonderful. Alrighty, and that's what I have for you guys today. Any questions at all? Like Shara said, you can send them into the Q&A, and there we go. And we will handle them for you guys. Thank you so much.
All righty. So I know James has been answering questions, I'm sorry, in the Q&A.
I have.
Go ahead.
Yeah, been answering some questions through there, so thank you for your questions.
Are there any additional questions? No? All righty. Well, we will give you back the remainder of the time. Stay tuned for our next webinar, which will be the first Wednesday of June. Wow, it's May already. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for attending. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys.